So next on the list of movement patterns, my foundational movement patterns that I train with is the push. So you got things like, well, the most basic form is a push-up. Uh, Different variations of push-ups. You can go from elevated on a bar. It's usually what I'll start someone with, have them elevated, where you can adjust the height up and down as they progress. So push-up on a bar, advance down to eventually push-ups on the ground, feet elevated push-ups. So you're at I guess it'd be a decline right there. Um, you can add things like you can add weight plates to it as you get more advanced to your back, chains, bands to add some more resistance. You can even do band assisted push-ups. Another variation for more of the beginners, people just learning who can't quite do push-ups from the floor. So you put them on the floor or on a bar, but then you wrap a band around the back, kind of like a backpack. Have them go from there. The band will assist and lift them up. So from the push-up, you got other things advance into the dumbbell bench press, regular barbell bench press, neutral grip bar. There's plenty of different variations of bench pressing you can do. And those would be, I guess, the horizontal push. You also got or vertical push, which would be overhead lifting, which a lot of people still struggle with upper back tightness, things like that. They probably should not be doing any overhead lifting right away. More so get the ability, that range of motion where you can actually get your arms overhead. Whereas typical people today, because we're so forward dominant, we're all hunched over like Quasimodo from being on our phones and computers all day. Whereas if they go overhead, can only get to here or right here or whatever. But if they go overhead, they have to superly arch their lower back, and we don't want that. We want it to be fairly straight up and down, where they're not having it excessively overarch, and their shoulders can go up overhead. So any horizontal push would be like the military press, dumbbell overhead press, neutral grip overhead press, barbell, seated, standing. Tons of different variations that you can use. Kettlebell, bottoms up kettlebell, or just a regular kettlebell. So do this variation with kettlebell, and then bottoms up, which would be with the bottom of the kettlebell up. Can't really do it in here because my ceilings are so low, but those are just, so you got your horizontal push movements, which would be like the push up or bench press, and then the vertical push movements, which would be overhead. So right now I'm just going to kind of go over a good form for a push up, whereas I like that's the most basic push exercise. I think it's probably the best too for most people. Whereas once you get into a straight barbell, like I said before, you have to earn the right to use a barbell. And as I start people out, especially beginners or people who haven't been lifting as much, start them with a push-up, elevated, hands elevated to start, progress our way down to the floor, maybe even start them or get them on the floor and have them do just negative push-ups or eccentric push-ups where you're just going the down portion of a push-up for 3 to 5 seconds and then back up without even pushing, so they can get on their knees or whatever, and get back up. And that will just work on strengthening and controlling that lowering portion. But so I love starting the push-up. I still do tons of push-ups. Are great because it allows the shoulder blades to fully move along your rib cage. Your shoulder blades aren't meant to be stuck in one spot. You actually want them to move. So at the top of the push-up, think of the upper back here should actually be a little bit rounded, pushing more towards the ceiling. A lot of people will be locked with their shoulder blades locked, like they're pinned back together, because you're taught with that on the bench press. You want to lock your shoulders back and down when you're bench pressing. But with the push-up, you don't want to do that. You want your shoulder blades to move for you, and that's why I like them. Especially for anyone who's like myself, who's a baseball player or overhead athlete. Allows more free movement of your arms and shoulder blades. So you want a little bit of rounding on the upper back when you're at the top of the push-up, kind of like you're squeezing your pecs together. So, and allow that rounding, allow your shoulder blades to move along the rib cage, so to speak. And then when you're at the bottom of the push-up, or when you have the bench on your bar, or the barbell on your barbell and you come down on the bench press, that's where you'd have your shoulders pinched together and squeeze together there on the bottom of a push-up. So again, at top, you want a little bit more rounding. On the bottom, the shoulder blades pinched together. And that's why I like this push-up, because it does allow that freedom of movement, whereas like a dumbbell bench or barbell bench, you're taught to lock those shoulders down and back and keep them there. So a little bit of the push-up form. Let's see if we can get good angle here. So again, with the hands, I like to teach the same I do with the feet on a squat or deadlift. Think of your hands are they're on a piece of paper, and you're gripping into the ground with your hands, trying to tear that piece of paper apart. You don't want your elbows way out here. That's going to cause just unnecessary shoulder pain. We want to be joint friendly as possible. So think of twisting that, get your elbows pointed down towards your feet. Top position here. Have the upper back. You don't want the shoulder blades pinched together. Have the upper back slightly rounded, or where your spine is even. You don't want, they call it scapular winging if you're stuck and with the shoulder blades retracted all the time. Scapular winging. So with that spine up, again, straight line from the back of your head down to your butt, or in this case to your feet too. So as you lower down, squeeze those shoulder blades together at the bottom and back up. One thing I see a lot with people on the push-up is either their core will sag, so it'll be like that, looking like kind of like a yoga pose, like what is that, upward dog. And then you just do a push-up like that. Again, you want to have tension, create tension throughout the body, from the feet up to your upper body. You shouldn't be no sagging in the core there. It should be tight, again, like someone's punching you in the stomach. Brace that core. Then let's see what else. Oh, elbow position. Like I mentioned, the elbows out. You don't need them in. I mean, you can do push-ups like that with them right in by your side, but maybe like a 30 to 45 degree angle, I guess. I'm not very good at math, or never was good with the old, what is it, a protractor? Is that what you use to measure angles? But, so have your elbows pointed down to your feet. Don't need them in close. I mean, you can. That makes it a little bit tougher, a little bit more tricep. But keep them slighter angle. You don't want them out like that. It's bad for your shoulders. But you can do wider grip push-ups on different grip in close for like diamond push-ups. But yeah, there's different variations that way too. So, but then another thing see is with with that straight line from the back here, that neutral spine. A lot of people will do a push-up with they'll eat their head down or forward, kind of like they're trying to just touch their nose to the ground. I've been guilty of this in the past, so you can just think head, that neutral spine. Just don't want to reach the head. A lot of people will just reach the head down where they're not actually working their arms. So again, just brace everything tight. Elbows in, 30 to 45 degree angle. Rip that paper apart, get a good, that helps also create tension. So again, another tip for that is if you are using a bar for push-ups, that gripping, just tell them to break the bar, so to speak. So you're got your hands on you trying to bend the bar, same you teach with like a bench press. That's and that we'll go over a little bit here next is get into more on the actual bench press. And yeah, like want them to master the push up first, whether that's on the ground on a barbell, and then get in some bench pressing. Starting with dumbbells, usually what I like to start with, just because it does allow, I think, more control, more stability, because you're using two different arms aren't locked into the same bar, so you're lowering each, or using each dumbbell separately. So then if you have dumbbells, again, bench is going to start at your feet, driving those feet into the floor. See if we can get a better shot of this. Bench is a full body lift too, so you're not just using your upper body. You should be using your legs and feet too. So everyone's going to have a little bit different stance depending if they want them back or a little bit farther. So get those feet on the ground. And a lot of people, I have shorter legs, so some of the benches are higher. So if it's a higher bench and causing too much stress on your lower back, I'll put bumper plates or plates underneath my feet just to raise my feet up so my back's not super arched. You'll see a lot of those power lifters that have these crazy lower back arches. I don't know why. I mean, obviously it's to make the bar path shorter so you don't have to lift it as much. But it's just I don't know, unnecessary, I think, for most people who are just benching to get stronger or look better or whatever. So hard to start everyday people, but it's just a good way to get screw up your lower back, so not really necessary. So just start with the feet, drive back. And your dumbbells, I like to kind of kick them back with your knees or your thighs. Start up at the top. Again, lock those shoulder blades down and back. Control them down. You don't want to rush them too, unless you're doing light speed squats or speed bench. But control them down and power them up. Again, when you're lowering them, you want to come down to like right at the nipple line. You don't want to be up at your neck or way down here. It's right at but the nipple line is pretty good. I don't know, maybe some people have nipples that aren't lined up evenly or out of line or just all over the place. But yeah, right at that nipple line or lower of the lower part of the pec. So that's good for that. So that's dumbbell bench press. And we'll go quickly over a regular barbell bench press. So a lot of the same cues and everything. Again, start with the feet. And here, if you do have shorter legs like me, this bench isn't bad. My other one's a little bit higher, so I'll put a couple bumper plates there just to keep my feet, give me a little bit more neutral spine. So it feels a little bit better. I like it that way. I can drive with my feet a little better without messing with my lower back. So again, start at the feet, drive those feet in the ground, get a good base, butt, low back, upper back, all in contact. You know, you might have different grips on the bench. There's a wide grip, narrow grip, and then like a normal grip. Mine's slightly about a little bit wider than shoulder width, but play around with it, see what works best for you. So I'm gonna grip the bar super tight. Again, exhale it up. You want to come set out here. You don't want to just grab it out and just come right down. Come set right above that, your chest there, the top here. Breathe in and brace. As you exhale and brace, set the position, set the brace, then again control it down. And as you rack it, just slam it back in there so you know so you know it's actually in the J hooks and not going to drop it on your face. Again, if you have a spotter, make sure you have a spotter. If you don't have a spotter, make sure you have some safety bars, safety pins. So if you do drop it, you're not going to crush yourself, just to be safe. So again, with the bench press, again, you are locking in your shoulder blades back and down throughout the entire movement, whereas the push-up, you want those shoulder blades to protract and retract across the rib cage there. So trying to think of anything else on the bench press. Oh yeah, like I mentioned with the push-ups on the bar and bench, with the bench press of the bar, when you have it to activate the lats in your back there, so you think of breaking that bar again. So trying to bend it in half. That'll also keep your elbows down, pointing towards your feet, because you don't want your elbows like that. That's bad news for your shoulders and elbows. So think of trying to bend that bar in half, create tension. That'll also help keep the brace and allow you to create more power and strength there. So that is the push. I guess we can go a little bit over. Yeah, you got the horizontal push up bench press, which the majority people do. Overhead, vertical pressing, pushing. There's not as many exercises, I guess, and it's not, most people probably shouldn't be doing. The majority of people probably shouldn't do overhead pressing right away, just due to our lack of shoulder mobility that I find with most people I train anyway, at least right away, or just previous injuries, shoulder injuries, things like that. But I mean, if you got good shoulder mobility, you got good low back and stuff, you're not overarching, you can definitely program in some overhead lifting, but I wouldn't say it's as necessary. But I mean, it's good. I like doing overhead lifting, but yeah, a lot of people shouldn't do it just because they're not ready for it right away. But down the road to get into it as they get better upper back mobility and they're able to get a proper form in doing it, rather than doing it wrong right away and then just piling on and creating more chance of injury and bad habits that way. So that is the push, the horizontal, the vertical, push-up bench press, all those different variations. Tons of different variations you can choose from. Play around with it, find what works best for you, what is going to allow you to move pain-free and not get injured. So those are probably the two most important things. And then as you're moving pain-free through, when you find that variation that works best for you, or variations, change them up so you're not getting bored doing the same thing and risk that overuse of just doing the same thing over and over and over again. Finding what works best for you allows you to progress the best, stays safe, keeps you healthy, and lets you achieve the goals you're trying to achieve through the push variation. So if you have any questions on the push variation, or looking to get started, need some help finding, even just doing a movement assessment, finding if you should be doing overhead lifting, find what pressing or pushing variations work best for you. I'll see you, check out your push-up form, things like that. Reach out, comment below, direct message me, or head to tagpn.com and apply for coaching. So I look forward to working with you. Thanks.